the age of dragons and the types of dragons that existed. There was a time when the sky belonged to dragons. Their wings darkened the sun, and their power shaped kingdoms. They were named by their essence, their flame, their terror. In the dawn of time, when the world was young and magic flowed freely through the veins of the earth, dragons ruled supreme. These magnificent creatures, born of fire and starlight, soared through skies untouched by mortal wings. Their very presence commanded awe and reverence, their roars echoing across vast landscapes, shaping the destiny of all who dwelled beneath their shadow. The dragons were not mere beasts, but beings of profound intelligence and cosmic power. Each dragon was a living embodiment of the primal forces that shaped the world. Their scales gleamed with the light of 1,000 suns, their eyes held the wisdom of eons, and their breath could alter the very fabric of reality. As the ages passed, distinct lineages of dragons emerged, each mastering a different aspect of nature's fury and wonder. These great houses of dragonkind became the stuff of legend, their names whispered in reverence and fear by those who walked the earth below. The storm dragon, born of cyclones, commanded wind and lightning. Emerging from the heart of tempests, these majestic beings rode the currents of the sky with unparalleled grace. Their scales shimmered with the electric blue of lightning, and their roars could split the heavens. With a single beat of their wings, they could summon gale-force winds, and their breath sparked storms that raged for days on end. The storm dragons were the masters of the open sky, revered by sailors and feared by all who dared to challenge their dominion over the clouds. The magma dragon, guardian of volcanoes, spewed rivers of fire. Deep within the molten core of the earth, these dragons were forged in the crucible of creation itself. Their bodies radiated with intense heat, their scales a constantly shifting pattern of cooling obsidian and glowing lava. The magma dragons were the shapers of continents, their fiery breath carving new landscapes, and their slumber causing mountains to rise. They were worshipped as gods of creation and destruction, their temples built atop active volcanoes, where the brave and foolhardy alike sought their favor. The frost dragon, ivory silhouette, ruled over forgotten polar realms. In the frozen wastes of the world's extremes, where eternal winter reigned supreme, the frost dragons made their domain. Their scales gleamed like freshly fallen snow, and their breath could freeze entire armies in an instant. These dragons were the keepers of ancient knowledge, their memories stretching back to the first frost of creation. They guarded secrets frozen in glaciers and ice caves, their wisdom as vast and deep as the polar seas over which they reigned. The forest dragon, ally of the ancients, lived in harmony with nature's spirits, nestled within the heart of primordial forests. These dragons were the guardians of life itself. Their scales shimmered with every shade of green, and flowers bloomed in their wake. The forest dragons were the nurturers of the natural world, their magic intertwined with the very roots of the earth. They communed with spirits of tree and stone, acting as mediators between the mortal realm and the hidden world of nature. Druids and shamans sought their counsel, for in their eyes one could see the reflection of the world's first spring. The abyssal dragon, unseen and silent, haunted dreams and depths. In the darkest trenches of the ocean and the deepest caverns of the earth, the abyssal dragons lurked. These enigmatic beings were rarely seen, their existence more rumor than fact. Their scales absorbed light, rendering them nearly invisible in their shadowy domains. The abyssal dragons were the keepers of the world's darkest secrets, their whispers inspiring nightmares and madness in those unlucky enough to hear them. They were the dragons of mystery and fear, their very name a curse upon the lips of the superstitious. As the ages passed, the dragons' rule seemed eternal and unshakable. They were the architects of empires, the judges of kings, and the arbiters of fate. Mortals built great cities in their honor, offering tribute and devotion in exchange for protection and knowledge. The world thrived under their reign, a golden age of magic and wonder that seemed as if it would last forever. But even in this age of draconic majesty, shadows lurked on the horizon. For while the dragons ruled the skies and the surface, deep within the earth, another power was stirring. A power as ancient as the dragons themselves, born of stone and fury, waiting for the right moment to challenge the reign of the winged lords. But that era was not only majestic, For from the earth's core, The giants emerged carriers of hate and vengeance. Thus began the titanic conflict. Dragons versus giants, a war none have forgotten. The giants rose from the depths, their bodies hewn from the very bedrock of the world. They were the children of the earth, born of its rage and resentment at being overshadowed by the dragon's celestial glory. Where dragons were grace and fire, giants were strength and stone. Their footsteps shook the ground, their voices rumbled like earthquakes, and their hands could reshape mountains. The conflict that erupted between these two primordial forces was cataclysmic. Skies darkened with ash and smoke as dragon flame met giant stone. Mountains crumbled, valleys were carved, and entire landscapes were reshaped in the wake of their battles. The mortal races cowered in fear, caught between these titanic powers, their cities reduced to rubble, their lives mere footnotes in this war of gods. For centuries, the war raged on. Storm dragons unleashed hurricanes upon the giants' strongholds, while the giants hurled boulders that could blot out the sun. The magma dragons melted entire mountain ranges, only to see the giants rise from the cooling stone, stronger than before. The frost dragons froze vast armies of giants, who in turn shattered the dragon's icy realms. The forest dragons called upon the spirits of nature to entangle and confuse the giants, while the giants tore entire forests from the earth in their fury. And through it all, the abyssal dragons moved in shadow. Their influence felt, but never seen, sowing discord and fear among both sides. The war reshaped the world, leaving scars that would never fully heal. Entire species were wiped out, caught in the crossfire of powers beyond their comprehension. The face of the earth was forever changed, new mountains rising where none had been before, vast chasms opening to reveal the fiery heart of the world. As the conflict reached its zenith, both dragons and giants realized the futility of their struggle. The world they fought over was being destroyed by their very battle. In a moment that would be sung of for millennia to come, the leaders of both sides met atop the highest peak in the world, surrounded by storm and fire, to forge a truce. The peace that followed was uneasy, but it held. Dragons retreated to their ancestral realms, the storm dragons to their cloud kingdoms, the magma dragons to their volcanic lairs, the frost dragons to their icy wastes, the forest dragons to their verdant groves, and the abyssal dragons to their shadowy depths. The giants, too, withdrew into the heart of the earth, emerging only rarely to remind the world of their presence. The age of open dragon rule had passed, but their influence remained. They became figures of myth and legend, their true nature obscured by time and tale. But those who know where to look can still see signs of their presence in the sudden storm that appears on a clear day, in the unexplained tremors of a dormant volcano, in the ancient trees that whisper secrets to the wind, and in the shadows that seem to move of their own accord.